What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and yesterday Ubisoft gave their E3 2019 briefing, and of course, a lot of news came out of this show. Although there was no Splinter Cell as confirmed last week, but still highly anticipated, there was a lot worth talking about. So without further ado, let's go ahead and break down the top highlights from yesterday's show. Watch Dogs Legion was leaked last week, and we got a pretty good idea of what the game itself would entail, but on top of that, now at the official unveiling, we got a nearly 20-minute gameplay trailer, which was very impressive. So the idea behind Watch Dogs Legion is that you are in a dystopian surveillance state version of the UK, and it looks beautiful and it's very accurate from what I have heard. One of the biggest features of the game is this idea of being able to play as anybody in the game, even if it isn't somebody in the main storyline, which is a pretty cool idea. Basically, you recruit them and they become part of the Legion, which hints at the name, and they can go about doing the business of which you do, killing people and trying to free up the state. However, at its core, this is still a Watch Dogs game. You have a bit of light puzzle solving, you have some stealth action going on here, a lot of cool elements coming together with some new ideas to create Watch Dogs Legion, which is going to be dropping on March the 6th of 2020. Next up, let's talk about Ghost Recon Breakpoint, because this is one of the biggest games of 2019, and I will say it looked very impressive in the small snippets of gameplay that were shown off in roughly the 10-minute presentation. But ultimately, I was left with the same feeling that I got from the original trailer. You are alone, you are trying to survive, and you are trying to take down Jon Bernthal and the Wolves all at the same time, which is a really cool experience, but the biggest part of this entire presentation was the fact that Jon Bernthal's dog was on stage. Keanu Reeves is right here, and then there's the dog. Those are arguable, but man, it was a cute dog.
Hey, I'm John. Good to be here. This is Bam Bam the dog. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I will say one of the biggest actual takeaways from this presentation on Ghost Recon Breakpoint is the fact that AI friendlies are going to be coming back. So if you are a single player like me and you do want to play Ghost Recon Breakpoint, you aren't going to be breaking your back by carrying the equivalent of what 4 people would normally be dealing with. Instead, you actually have fake teammates to help you out, which is a pretty cool benefit. The Division 2 might have came out a couple of months back, but we are still ravenously waiting for more info on DLC and new content updates, and we got a general outline of what that's going to look like at Ubisoft's conference. The first episode, called DC Outskirts Expeditions, takes players to the Washington National Zoo, while the second episode, coming out in the fall, is Pentagon: The Last Castle, which takes players, as you would expect, to the Pentagon, which includes a brand new 8-person raid taking place in the middle of an active foundry. A pretty cool location for a raid if I do say so myself. And finally, in Episode 3, the final DLC episode of Year 1, you have Coney Island Homecoming, which actually takes players back to New York. Of course, as you can expect, this is going to be a very big episode of DLC, and it's one to keep your eye on as time does go on. But I will say, between June 13th and the 16th of 2019, you do have free access to the Division 2 if you have not had the chance to dive in and give it a shot. Rainbow Six Quarantine is a 3-person co-op PvE game coming out in Q1 of 2020, and it definitely is going to be changing up the Rainbow Six experience, because instead of just fighting terrorists or something along those lines, there is a mutated alien parasite that has taken hold of human host, and essentially you and 2 friends have to go around the country cleaning out quarantine zones. It's a fantastic idea, and although we didn't see any gameplay and we just got a teaser trailer, I'm excited to see what the team behind the scenes is actually going to bring out. Hey, you want to talk about gods and monsters? Ubisoft's brand new game shown off at E3 2019. It's from the developers of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I will say it looks very impressive. It looks to be a marriage between something like Breath of the Wild, both in gameplay and art style, and Assassin's Creed itself. That's one thing I do appreciate about Ubisoft, is that they roll out new ideas every year at E3, and this looks to be one of those instances. Of course, as I said, we didn't see a lot of big gameplay from Gods and Monsters, but whenever you look at it, you can kind of figure out exactly what kind of experience you are going to be having within this game. Again, I wouldn't expect it to be as polished and as perfect as Breath of the Wild, because that is one of the few games that is nearly perfect, if I had to say so. But a cool idea, and one that looks to be a very promising concept. So if you do want to check out Gods and Monsters, the trailer is up right now, and I would recommend giving it at least a bit of a look. Additionally, if you do like that trailer, you can pre-order and pick it up on February 25th of 2020 when the game is officially released. And to round out the recap, we have Uplay Plus, which is essentially a $14.99 a month streaming service that gives you access to everything Ubisoft has pumped out. Over 100 games, including DLC and new releases, as well as classics, all included for $14.99 a month. Now, if you aren't a passionate fan of Ubisoft games, you might not get the most bang for your buck here, but if you do love stuff like Far Cry, like Assassin's Creed, like The Division, like The Crew, if you love Ubisoft products, this is a fantastic deal for you. Additional small interesting tidbit, you have Uplay Plus coming out on Google Stadia, so essentially a subscription service coming out for a Google subscription streaming service. Of course, there were a few other announcements, such as a mobile game or two. Then we have Just Dance coming out yet again, surprise, on the Wii, a console from 2006. Don't tell me the Vita is dead. But those are the highlights for Ubisoft's show. Of course, if you are brand new to the channel, I did update yesterday and tell you guys about the Xbox and, of course, the Bethesda press conference as well. But let me know what you think about the Ubisoft press conference in the comment section down below. And, of course, subscribe if you do enjoy the content. But until next time, you guys have a phenomenal rest of the day, and peace.